When Dr. Maya Rodriguez discovered a beautiful alien dying alone in the desert, she never expected the most profound question of her life. "May I sleep beside you tonight, human?" Dr. Maya Rodriguez had been working alone at the desert research station for 3 months now. The Arizona desert stretched endlessly in every direction, with nothing but sand, rocks, and the occasional cactus breaking the horizon. She was a scientist who studied signals from space, hoping one day to find proof that we weren't alone in the universe. Every night, Maya sat in front of her computer screens, listening to the endless static from deep space. Most people thought her job was boring, but she found it peaceful. The quiet desert, the steady hum of her equipment, and the vast starry sky above made her feel connected to something bigger than herself. It was past midnight on a Tuesday when everything changed. Maya was drinking her 3rd cup of coffee, fighting off sleep, when suddenly her equipment started going crazy. The screens lit up with readings she had never seen before. The numbers were jumping all over the place, and there was a strange humming sound coming from the speakers. At first, she thought something was wrong with her machines. She checked all the connections and ran diagnostics, but everything seemed to be working fine. The signal was real, and it was coming from somewhere close by. Very close. Maya grabbed her flashlight and stepped outside into the cool desert air. The signal was stronger out here, and her portable scanner was pointing toward a spot about 3 miles away. She knew she should call her supervisor, but curiosity got the better of her. She climbed into her Jeep and started driving toward the source. The desert looked different at night. Strange shadows moved between the rocks, and the silence was almost complete except for the sound of her engine. As she got closer to the location, she noticed a faint glow in the distance. It wasn't like any light she had seen before. It seemed to pulse gently like a heartbeat. When she reached the top of a small hill, Maya stopped the Jeep and got out. Below her in a shallow valley was something that made her heart race. There was a craft of some kind, partially buried in the sand. It was smooth and curved, about the size of a small airplane, but it didn't look like any aircraft she had ever seen. The metal seemed to shine with its own light, and there were no visible engines or wings. Maya's hands were shaking as she made her way down the hill. This was it. This was what every scientist like her had been hoping to find. Proof that we weren't alone. But as she got closer, she realized something was wrong. The craft looked damaged. There were cracks in its surface, and some kind of fluid was leaking from one side. Then she saw movement. A figure was sitting against a large rock about 20 feet from the craft. At first glance, it looked human, but as Maya got closer, she could see this wasn't quite right. The person's skin seemed to glow softly like moonlight on water. Their hair was long and moved gently even though there was no wind. And their eyes, when they looked up at Maya, were larger than human eyes, and they seemed to hold stars in them. Maya stopped walking. Her scientific mind was racing, but her heart was pounding with fear and excitement. The figure looked hurt. One arm was held against their side, and their breathing seemed labored. But what struck Maya most was how beautiful this being was. Not in a human way, but in a way that made her think of perfect crystals or the first light of dawn. The being spoke, and somehow Maya understood, even though the language was like nothing she had ever heard. It sounded like music mixed with gentle rain. The words formed meaning in her mind. "Please. I mean no harm." Maya found her voice. "Are you okay? Are you hurt?" The being's large eyes filled with something that looked like tears, though they sparkled like tiny diamonds. "My vessel. It failed me. I cannot return to my people. I fear your kind will not understand." Maya looked back at the damaged craft, then at this beautiful, vulnerable being sitting alone in the desert. Every rule she had been taught about first contact situations told her to call the authorities immediately. This discovery would change everything humanity thought about the universe. But looking at this creature's frightened face, she couldn't bring herself to turn them into a government specimen. "What's your name?" Maya asked gently. "I'm called Zara among my people." "And you, human?" "Maya, Dr. Maya Rodriguez. I'm a scientist. I study the stars." Zara's expression brightened slightly. "You listen to the songs of space. That is why you found me." Maya knelt down next to Zara, close enough to see that her skin really was glowing with a soft, warm light. "You need medical attention. I have supplies back at my station. Your healers would not understand my form," Zara said sadly. "And your leaders, they would fear what they do not know." Maya made a decision that would change both their lives forever. "Then we won't tell them, not yet. Let me help you first and then we'll figure out what to do. Zara looked surprised. You would risk your safety for one you do not know? You're hurt and you're alone. That's enough, Maya said simply. Getting Zara back to the research station wasn't easy. The being could walk but slowly, and Maya had to help support her weight. Zara was lighter than she expected and her skin felt warm through Maya's shirt. The glow from Zara's skin was dim but steady, like a nightlight. During the drive back, Zara explained that she was a scout for her people, studying different worlds and their inhabitants. Her species had been watching Earth for a long time, but always from a distance. They had never made direct contact because they weren't sure humans were ready. My ship had a malfunction in your atmosphere, Zara explained. Something about your planet's magnetic field interfered with my navigation systems. I was trying to land safely when everything went wrong. Maya listened in amazement. Here was proof of everything she had hoped to find in her career, sitting right next to her in her jeep. But more than that, she was beginning to feel protective of this strange, beautiful being who seemed so lost and frightened. When they reached the research station, Maya helped Zara into her personal quarters. The building was small and functional, with Maya's bedroom, a tiny kitchen, and a bathroom. It wasn't much, but it was private and safe from prying eyes. Under the electric lights, Zara looked even more otherworldly. Her skin had a pearl-like quality, and her hair seemed to move with a life of its own. But her eyes held very human emotions: fear, hope, and gratitude. Thank you, Zara whispered as Maya helped her sit on the small couch. I do not know why you chose to help me, but I am grateful. Maya looked at this incredible being who had literally fallen from the stars into her quiet desert life. Because it was the right thing to do, she said. And because I think we both have a lot to learn from each other. As Maya gathered supplies to tend to Zara's injuries, she realized that her lonely nights of listening to empty space were over. She had found exactly what she was looking for, but in a way she never could have imagined. The real question now was what would happen next. The first morning after bringing Zara to her quarters, Maya woke up to find the alien sitting by the window watching the sunrise. Zara's glow had dimmed during the night and she looked smaller somehow, more fragile in the daylight. Did you sleep at all? Maya asked, rubbing her eyes. Zara shook her head slowly. Sleep does not come easily when one is alone. My people, we do not rest in solitude. Maya made coffee and toast, offering some to Zara, who politely declined. Instead, Zara seemed to draw energy from placing her hands on a small potted plant Maya kept on the windowsill. The plant's leaves grew brighter and fuller under her touch. I need to go to work, Maya explained. The other scientists will wonder where I am if I don't show up. But I'll be back by lunch to check on you. Zara nodded, but Maya could see worry in her large, star-like eyes. What if someone discovers me? They won't. This building is mine alone. Just stay away from the windows during the day, okay? Walking to the main research building, Maya felt like she was living in two different worlds. On the surface, everything looked normal. The same desert landscape, the same concrete buildings, the same routine. But underneath, her life had completely changed. She was hiding the most important discovery in human history in her bedroom. Dr. Chen, her colleague, noticed her distraction immediately. You look tired, Maya. Were you up late again listening to those signals? Something like that, Maya said, trying to act normal. Just thought I picked up something interesting last night. Anything worth reporting? Maya's heart skipped. Probably just interference. I'm still analyzing the data. The morning dragged by. Maya kept checking her watch and making excuses to leave early. When Dr. Chen suggested they grab lunch together, Maya had to think fast. I can't today. I need to run some equipment checks at the remote station, she lied. Want company? I could use the fresh air. No, Maya said too quickly. I mean, it's really boring technical stuff. Nothing interesting. Dr. Chen raised an eyebrow but didn't push further. Maya hurried back to her quarters, her heart racing. She found Zara exactly where she had left her, but the alien looked even weaker. Her skin had lost more of its glow and her hands were shaking slightly. Are you sick? Maya asked, sitting beside her. Not sick, Zara replied softly. Just fading. My people need connection to maintain our life force. Physical closeness, shared thoughts, the presence of others. Without it, we slowly dim until we cease to exist. Maya felt a chill. You mean you're dying? Slowly, yes. It is the way of my kind. We are not meant to be alone. Maya stared at Zara, her mind racing. What can I do? How can I help? Zara looked surprised. You would truly help me? Even knowing what I am? Of course. You're not so different from humans. We need each other too, just in different ways. Over the next few days, Maya learned more about Zara and her people. They came from a planet where everyone was connected through something like telepathy. They shared emotions, thoughts, and energy with each other constantly. Being alone was like being cut off from the air they breathed. Show me, Maya said one evening as they sat together on the couch. Show me how you connect with others. Zara hesitated. It requires touch and trust. Are you certain? Maya nodded and held out her hand. Zara placed her palm against Maya's, and immediately, Maya felt a warm sensation spreading up her arm. It wasn't painful, but it was intense. For a moment, she could sense Zara's emotions. Fear, gratitude, and a deep loneliness that made Maya's chest ache. That's what you feel all the time? Maya whispered. That emptiness? Zara nodded, pulling her hand away. But less so now with you here. Your presence helps even without the full connection. Maya started spending more time in her quarters, working on her laptop while Zara rested nearby. She noticed that the alien's glow grew a little brighter when they were close together. It wasn't much, but it was something. The hardest part was maintaining her normal routine at work. Maya had always been dedicated to her research, but now she found herself rushing through tasks so she could get back to Zara. Her colleagues began to notice. You've been acting strange lately, Dr. Patel mentioned during their weekly team meeting. Is everything okay at home? Everything's fine, Maya said quickly. Just working on some personal research projects. Dr. Patel nodded, but Maya could see the curiosity in her eyes. She would have to be more careful. One afternoon, Maya returned to find Zara attempting to repair a small device she had salvaged from her crashed ship. The alien's long fingers moved with incredible precision, working with tools that seemed to bend light around them. What is that? Maya asked. A communication array, Zara explained without looking up. If I can repair it, I might be able to send a signal to my people. Let them know I am alive. Will they come for you? Zara's hands stilled. Perhaps. But it would take time, and they would need to be very careful. Your governments. They would not react well to our ships in your sky. Maya watched Zara work, admiring the alien's focus and skill. Despite being stranded and alone, Zara hadn't given up hope. There was something deeply inspiring about her quiet determination. Can I help? Maya offered. Zara looked up, surprised. You know nothing of our technology. No, but I understand electronics and physics. Maybe between your knowledge and mine, we can figure it out. They worked together for hours that evening, Zara explaining the principles behind her people's technology, while Maya suggested ways to adapt it using human materials. It was slow going, but gradually they made progress. Your species is more clever than we initially believed, Zara said as Maya successfully repaired a burned-out component using parts from an old radio. We're pretty good at fixing things, Maya agreed. We have to be. We break stuff a lot too. Zara laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. It was the first time Maya had heard her laugh, and it made her smile. As the days passed, they developed a routine. Maya would go to work in the morning, trying to act normal while her thoughts constantly drifted to the extraordinary being waiting in her quarters. During lunch breaks, she would bring Zara food and supplies, though the alien seemed to need very little in the way of physical sustenance. In the evenings, they would work on the communication device or simply talk. Zara told Maya about her homeworld, a place of crystal cities and floating gardens where thoughts and emotions flowed freely between all inhabitants. Maya shared stories about Earth, about human struggles and achievements, about art and music and the things that made life worth living. Your people create beauty even in the midst of conflict, Zara observed one night. That is remarkable. We're a complicated species, Maya admitted. We can be cruel and kind sometimes in the same day, but we keep trying to be better, as do my people. Perhaps that is what makes us similar, despite our different forms. Maya looked at Zara, whose skin glowed softly in the dim light of the room, and realized something important was happening. This wasn't just about first contact or scientific discovery anymore. She was beginning to care about Zara as a person, not just as an alien. And from the way Zara looked at her, she suspected the feeling was mutual. But Maya also knew their time together was limited. Eventually, Zara would need to return to her people, or they would come looking for her. The thought of losing this strange, wonderful friendship made Maya's chest tight with an emotion she didn't want to name. For now, though, they had each other, and that seemed to be enough to keep Zara's light burning just a little bit brighter each day. 3 weeks had passed since Maya found Zara in the desert, and things were getting worse. Despite their growing friendship and the hours they spent together each day, Zara was still fading. Her beautiful glow had dimmed to barely a whisper of light, and dark circles had appeared under her large eyes. Maya sat at her desk at work, pretending to analyze data while her mind was completely focused on Zara. She had tried everything she could think of, bringing her favorite books to read together, playing music, even attempting to create some kind of physical connection by holding hands, but nothing seemed to be enough. "Maya, you look exhausted," Dr. Patel said, approaching her desk with a concerned expression. "When's the last time you got a good night's sleep?" Maya looked up, realizing she had been staring at the same screen for 20 minutes without seeing anything. "I'm fine, just working on a complicated project. Maybe you should take a few days off. You've been pushing yourself pretty hard lately." "I can't," Maya said too quickly. "I mean, I'm right in the middle of something important. I can't stop now." Dr. Patel frowned. "Is this about that signal you detected a few weeks ago? The one you said was probably interference?" Maya's heart raced. "Something like that. I'm still trying to understand what I found." That afternoon, Maya hurried back to her quarters to find Zara sitting on the floor, leaning against the wall. The alien looked even weaker than when she had left that morning. Her skin was almost gray now, and her breathing seemed labored. "Zara." Maya dropped to her knees beside her friend. "What's happening to you?" "The disconnection grows stronger each day," Zara whispered. "Without my podmates, without the shared dreaming, I cannot sustain myself much longer." Shared dreaming. What's that? Zara's eyes closed as if the explanation required great effort. "Among my people, sleep is not a solitary act. We join our consciousness together, sharing dreams, fears, hopes. It is how we process emotion, how we heal, how we maintain our connection to life itself. To sleep alone is unthinkable." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "You haven't been sleeping at all, have you?" "I cannot. When I close my eyes alone, I feel as though I am falling into an endless void. The loneliness becomes overwhelming, and I must wake myself before I am lost forever." Maya stared at Zara, her brilliant mind racing through everything she had learned about her friend's species. What if you didn't have to sleep alone?" Zara opened her eyes, looking confused. "I do not understand. Humans don't share consciousness like your people do, but we're social creatures too. We need each other in different ways. What if I stayed close to you while you slept? Would that help?" Zara was quiet for a long moment, her large eyes studying Maya's face. "You would do that? But your rest would be disturbed, and the proximity required. It might make you uncomfortable." "I don't care about being comfortable," Maya said firmly. "I care about keeping you alive." That evening, Maya prepared for what felt like the strangest night of her life. She had moved her sleeping bag to the floor beside the couch where Zara usually rested. But as the hours passed and she watched Zara struggle to find peace, she realized it wasn't going to be enough. Around midnight, Zara sat up abruptly, her breathing rapid and shallow. "I cannot do this, Maya. Even with you near, the emptiness is too vast. I am sorry to have failed you." Maya looked at her friend, this beautiful, intelligent being who had traveled across the stars only to find herself dying slowly in a desert research station. She thought about all the nights she had spent alone in this same room, listening to static from space, wishing for something meaningful to fill the silence of her life. "Zara," she said softly, "what exactly do you need? Tell me specifically what would help." Zara looked down at her hands. Physical closeness, the warmth of another being, the knowledge that someone is there, sharing the vulnerability of sleep. "Among my people, we rest together, touching our life forces connected. It is how we know we are not alone in the universe." Maya felt her cheeks grow warm, but she pushed through her embarrassment. "Would it help if I slept beside you? Like really beside you? Close enough that you could feel my presence?" Zara's eyes widened. "You would offer such intimacy to one who is not of your species?" "You're not just any being from another species," Maya said. "You're my friend, and friends help each other, no matter how strange the circumstances." But even as she said it, Maya felt nervous butterflies in her stomach. She had always been a private person, uncomfortable with physical closeness. The idea of sleeping next to anyone, let alone an alien, made her feel exposed and vulnerable. "I do not wish to impose," Zara said quietly. "Your customs may be different from ours. I would not want to make you feel unsafe or uncomfortable." Maya looked at Zara's worried face and made a decision that surprised even her. "You're not imposing. You asked me a question and I'm giving you an answer. Yes, you may sleep beside me tonight." They rearranged the furniture in the small room, pushing the couch against the wall to make more space on the floor. Maya spread out blankets and pillows, creating a comfortable area large enough for both of them. Her hands were shaking slightly as she worked, but she tried to hide her nervousness. "Maya," Zara said softly as they settled down on opposite sides of the makeshift bed. "Thank you. This kindness. It is more than I hoped for when I crashed on your world." "Don't thank me yet," Maya said with a nervous laugh. "I'm probably going to be a terrible sleep companion. I toss and turn a lot and sometimes I talk in my sleep." "I do not mind," Zara said. And for the first time in days, Maya could see a faint glow returning to her friend's skin. They lay in the darkness, careful to maintain some distance between them, but close enough that Maya could hear Zara's breathing. It was strange and awkward at first. Maya was hyper-aware of every sound, every movement, but gradually she began to relax. "Maya," Zara's voice was barely a whisper in the dark. "Yes? I can feel your nervousness. Please do not be afraid. I mean you no harm." "I know," Maya said. "I'm not afraid of you. This is new for me. I've never been comfortable being this close to anyone, nor I with someone not of my people. But somehow with you it feels natural." As the night wore on, Maya found herself growing drowsy. The soft sound of Zara's breathing was actually soothing, and the knowledge that she was helping her friend gave her a sense of peace she hadn't expected. Just before she drifted off to sleep, she felt Zara's hand brush against hers. Whether by accident or design, she wasn't sure. But instead of pulling away, Maya let their fingers intertwine gently. The contact sent a warm, tingling sensation up her arm, not unlike the first time Zara had shared her emotions through touch. For the first time in weeks, Zara slept deeply and peacefully. Her breathing became slow and steady, and a gentle glow began to emanate from her skin, filling the small room with soft, warm light. Maya slept better that night than she had in months. She dreamed of floating among stars, of crystal cities and gardens that defied gravity, of a sense of belonging she had never experienced in her waking life. When morning came, both women woke feeling refreshed and strangely connected. Zara's color had returned, her eyes were bright, and the terrible tension that had been building in her body had finally eased. "How do you feel?" Maya asked. "Alive," Zara said simply. "Truly alive for the first time since my ship failed." Maya smiled, feeling proud and a little amazed at what they had accomplished. "So, same time tonight?" Zara's face lit up with joy and relief. "If you are willing, yes. Though I must warn you, now that the connection has begun, it may become stronger. You may begin to sense my dreams, my emotions more clearly." "Is that bad?" "Not bad," Zara said thoughtfully, "but different. It will change you as it changes me." Maya looked at her alien friend, this extraordinary being who had already changed her life in ways she was still discovering. "I think," she said slowly, "I'm ready for a little change." Over the next month, Maya's life took on a rhythm she had never imagined possible. During the day, she maintained her work at the research station, but her evenings belonged to Zara. They would eat dinner together, work on repairing the communication device, and talk for hours about their different worlds. Then, as night fell, they would prepare their shared sleeping space and rest side by side. The arrangement had worked beyond Maya's wildest hopes. Zara's health improved dramatically. Her skin glowed with renewed vitality, her energy returned, and she seemed more like herself each day. But Maya was surprised to discover that the arrangement helped her too. For the first time in her adult life, she wasn't lonely. "You look different lately," Dr. Patel commented one afternoon as they reviewed data together. "Happier. More relaxed?" Maya tried to hide her smile. "I've been getting better sleep recently." "Well, whatever you're doing, keep it up. You seem like a completely different person." If only she knew, Maya thought to herself. The truth was, sleeping next to Zara had changed Maya in ways she was still discovering. Sometimes she would wake up with vivid memories of dreams that weren't quite her own. Dreams of soaring through purple skies and walking through cities made of living crystal. Other times she would catch herself knowing things she had never learned, like how to identify edible plants by their energy signature, or how to calm her mind through breathing techniques Zara's people had used for centuries. Is this normal? Maya asked one evening as they prepared for sleep. These shared experiences we're having? Zara nodded, settling onto her side of their makeshift bed. Among my people it would be expected. When we share rest, we share more than just physical space. We share pieces of ourselves, and that doesn't worry you? Having a human mixing up your alien consciousness? Zara turned to face her, eyes bright with amusement. You worry too much, Maya. Your thoughts and dreams are beautiful. They taste of curiosity and kindness. If anything, they make me feel more complete. Maya felt warmth spread through her chest. You can taste thoughts? In a way. Emotions have flavors, memories have textures. It is difficult to explain in your language. As their connection deepened, Maya found herself caring about Zara in ways that went far beyond scientific interest or simple friendship. She looked forward to their conversations, worried when Zara seemed tired and felt genuinely happy when her alien friend laughed at her silly jokes. It was the kind of deep emotional bond Maya had never experienced with another person, human or otherwise, but their peaceful routine was about to be shattered. It started with small things Maya didn't notice at first. Dr. Patel asking more detailed questions about her research. Dr. Chen mentioning that the facility's internet usage had increased significantly. In Maya's sector, the facility director, Dr. Williams, stopping by her workstation more often than usual. Maya, Dr. Williams said one Thursday morning, I need to see you in my office. Maya's blood turned cold, but she tried to keep her expression neutral. Of course. Is there a problem? Just some routine questions about your recent work. Nothing to worry about. But Maya was definitely worrying as she followed Dr. Williams down the hallway to his office. The older man was usually friendly and casual, but today he seemed tense and formal. Please sit down, he said, closing the door behind them. Maya, you've been with us for 3 years now, and you've always been one of our most dedicated researchers. Thank you, sir. That's why I'm coming to you directly instead of going through other channels. Dr. Williams leaned back in his chair. We've noticed some irregularities in your data reports over the past month. Missing hours, incomplete analyses, and some energy usage patterns that don't match your stated research activities. Maya's mouth went dry. I don't understand. Your power consumption has tripled, Maya. You're running equipment around the clock, but your reports show standard monitoring activities. Either you're working on something you haven't told us about, or there's a serious problem with our billing systems. Maya's mind raced, trying to think of a plausible explanation. Zara's presence in her quarters, the alien technology they were working on, the extra lights and equipment she had been using, it all added up to a pattern that would be impossible to explain. I've been running some extended simulations, she lied. Testing some theories about signal processing. I didn't think it was worth reporting until I had concrete results. Dr. Williams studied her face carefully. What kind of theories? Just some ideas about improving our detection algorithms. It's probably nothing. Maya, I've known you for 3 years. You're not the kind of person to work on probably nothing for weeks on end. What's really going on? Before Maya could answer, Dr. Williams's phone rang. He answered it with an irritated expression, but his face quickly changed to one of concern. What? When? He listened for a moment, then looked at Maya with new suspicion. I see. Yes, we'll need to discuss this immediately. He hung up the phone and turned back to Maya. That was security. We have some visitors coming this afternoon. Government officials who want to discuss some unusual electromagnetic readings our satellites have detected in this area. Maya felt like the floor had dropped out from under her. Government officials? The kind who ask questions about unexplained energy signatures and missing equipment reports. Dr. Williams leaned forward. Maya, if there's something you need to tell me, now would be the time. Maya's heart was pounding so hard she was sure he could hear it. I don't know what you mean. I hope not for your sake. Because if we find out you've been conducting unauthorized research or hiding something from us, it won't just be your job on the line. Depending on what you've been doing, it could be much more serious than that. Maya left Dr. Williams' office feeling sick to her stomach. She had maybe 4 hours before the government officials arrived. 4 hours to figure out how to protect Zara and keep both of them from ending up in some secret facility as test subjects. She rushed back to her quarters to find Zara working intently on the communication device. The alien looked up with a smile that quickly faded when she saw Maya's expression. "What is wrong?" Zara asked. "We have a problem. A big one." Maya quickly explained about the investigation, the power consumption issues, and the incoming government officials. Zara listened carefully, her face growing more serious with each detail. "They suspect something?" "Yes. And if they find you here, they will take me away for study, and likely do the same to you for harboring me." Zara stood up, her expression resolute. "I will not let that happen. What can we do? Your communication device isn't finished yet, and even if it was, how long would it take your people to respond?" Zara was quiet for a long moment. Then she turned to Maya with determination in her large eyes. "There is another way. My ship, if we can repair it enough to get it airborne, I could leave your world before they discover me. But you said it was too damaged. The hull is breached and the navigation systems are destroyed, but the core engine might still function. With the right repairs and some of your human ingenuity..." Zara trailed off, looking at Maya hopefully. Maya thought about everything she had learned over the past month. All the alien technology Zara had taught her to understand. All the nights they had shared dreams and knowledge. Maybe, just maybe, they could pull this off. "How long do we have?" Maya asked. "If we work through the night and all of tomorrow, we might be able to make the ship space-worthy again." "But Maya," Zara's voice grew soft, "if we succeed, I will have to leave immediately. There will be no time for goodbyes." Maya felt a sharp pain in her chest at the thought of losing Zara, but she pushed it aside. Right now, keeping her friend safe was more important than her own feelings. "Then we better get started," she said firmly. "We have a spaceship to fix." Maya had never worked so hard in her entire life. She and Zara spent the entire night at the crash site, using flashlights and portable equipment to assess the damage to the alien ship. What they found was both encouraging and terrifying. The ship could potentially fly again, but it would require repairs that seemed almost impossible to complete in the time they had. "The main engine core is intact," Zara explained, running her hands over a section of the ship that looked like twisted metal to Maya, but apparently contained complex propulsion systems. "But the stabilization matrix is completely destroyed, and without it, the ship will be nearly impossible to control." "Can we build a new one?" Maya asked, wiping sweat from her forehead despite the cool desert air. "Not with the materials available on your world. However..." Zara paused, studying a damaged panel. "We might be able to create a temporary solution using some of your electronic components combined with pieces from my communication device." Maya's heart sank. "You mean sacrifice the only way to contact your people?" "It is our only choice. I would rather be lost in space trying to reach them than captured by your government." They worked through the dawn, Maya running back and forth between the crash site and her quarters to gather tools and supplies. By morning, she was exhausted, but adrenaline kept her moving. Every hour that passed brought them closer to the arrival of the government officials. At 10 o'clock, Maya's phone buzzed with a text from Dr. Patel. "Military vehicles just arrived. Where are you?" Maya showed the message to Zara, whose face went pale. "They are here sooner than expected." "How much more time do you need?" Zara looked at the ship's open panels, tools scattered around the hull, and the complex web of human and alien technology they had jerry-rigged together. "At least 4 more hours, maybe 6. We don't have 6 hours. Maybe not even 4. They worked even faster. Their conversation reduced to urgent technical exchanges. Maya had never imagined she would be capable of understanding alien engineering. But somehow the knowledge Zara had shared with her during their nights of connected sleep made sense of the impossible technology. Around noon, Maya's phone rang. It was Dr. Williams. "Maya, where are you? We need you back at the facility immediately." "I'm conducting field work," Maya lied, her hands shaking as she held a crystalline component Zara had asked her to install. "Equipment maintenance at the remote monitoring station." "Well, wrap it up. We have some people here who want to speak with everyone on the research team. I'll be there as soon as I can." She hung up and looked at Zara with panic. "I have to go back. If I don't show up soon, they'll come looking for me." Zara nodded grimly. "Go. I can continue the work alone for a few hours." "No, I'm not leaving you." "Maya, listen to me." Zara stopped working and took Maya's hands in hers. "If they find both of us here, we will both be lost. If you return and act normally, You might be able to buy us more time. Maya stared into Zara's large, star-like eyes and saw the fear there, but also determination, and something that looked like love. The thought of leaving her friend alone at this critical moment made her chest ache. "Promise me you won't try to launch that ship until I get back," Maya said. "I promise. But Maya, if I am discovered before you return, do not try to help me. Save yourself." Maya wanted to argue, but she knew Zara was right. She drove back to the research station with her heart pounding, trying to compose herself before facing whatever awaited her. The parking lot was full of black government vehicles, and the normally quiet facility buzzed with activity. Maya took deep breaths as she walked toward the main building, trying to look like she had spent the morning doing routine maintenance instead of helping an alien repair a spaceship. "There she is," Dr. Williams said as Maya entered the lobby. "Maya, these gentlemen need to ask you a few questions." The agents were exactly what Maya had expected. Serious men in dark suits with expressionless faces. They led her to a conference room where they asked detailed questions about her recent work, her power consumption, and any unusual readings she might have detected. Maya stuck to her story about running extended simulations, but she could tell they weren't entirely convinced. They kept pressing for details about her energy usage and asking about equipment that might have gone missing from the facility. Dr. Rodriguez, one of the agents said, leaning forward, "Our satellites have detected some very interesting electromagnetic signatures in this area over the past month. Signatures that don't match any known human technology. Do you have any idea what might be causing them?" Maya forced herself to maintain eye contact. "I'm afraid I don't. My equipment monitors deep space signals, not local electromagnetic activity." The questioning went on for nearly 2 hours. Maya answered as best she could while her mind raced with worry about Zara. Finally, the agent seemed satisfied, or at least ready to move on to other interviews. "Thank you for your cooperation. Dr. Rodriguez, we may have follow-up questions later." Maya nodded and left the conference room on shaking legs. She had to get back to Zara immediately, but as she headed for the parking lot, Dr. Williams intercepted her. "Maya, I need you to stay close to the facility this afternoon. The agents might want to speak with you again." "Of course," Maya said, though inside she was screaming with frustration. She spent the next 3 hours at her desk, pretending to work while watching the clock. Every minute that passed was another minute Zara was working alone, another minute closer to potential discovery. When 5 o'clock finally arrived, Maya practically ran to her car. She drove to the crash site as fast as she dared, her heart hammering with anxiety. What if Zara had been found? What if the ship couldn't be repaired? What if she was too late? But as she crested the hill overlooking the valley, Maya saw something that made her gasp with amazement. The alien ship was hovering about 3 feet off the ground, its hull glowing with soft blue light. Zara stood beside it, looking exhausted but triumphant. "You did it," Maya breathed as she ran down the hill. "We did it," Zara corrected. "I could never have managed the electronic interfaces without what you taught me about human technology." Maya stopped running as reality hit her. The ship was ready. Zara could leave now, tonight, before anyone else discovered her presence on Earth. She should be happy. They had succeeded against impossible odds. But all she felt was a crushing sadness. "So this is goodbye," Maya said quietly. Zara stepped closer and Maya could see tears sparkling in her eyes. "I do not want to leave you, Maya, this month. You have been more than a friend to me. You saved my life and you gave me something I never expected to find on an alien world." "What's that?" "Love. Not romantic love, but something deeper. Soul connection. Among my people, there is a word, Marankaleth. It means the bond between beings who choose to share their essence, their dreams, their deepest selves. What we have shared these nights, it is Kaleth." Maya felt tears running down her cheeks. "Will I ever see you again?" Zara reached into a small pouch at her waist and pulled out something that looked like a crystal the size of a marble. It pulsed with gentle light like a tiny heartbeat. "This is a memory stone," Zara explained, placing it in Maya's palm. "It contains a piece of my consciousness, my experiences, my knowledge. As long as you hold it, part of me will be with you." Maya closed her fingers around the crystal, feeling its warmth. "What about you? What will you remember of this place?" "Everything," Zara said simply. "When I return to my people, I will carry your kindness with me. I will tell them that not all humans fear what they do not understand. That some humans, like you, Choose compassion over fear. They stood together in the desert silence, two beings from different worlds who had found something precious in their brief time together. Maya wanted to memorize everything about this moment. The way Zara's skin glowed in the twilight, the sound of the ship's gentle humming, the feeling of the memory stone warm in her hand. I have to go, Zara said softly. If your government continues searching, they will eventually find traces of my presence here. Maya nodded, not trusting her voice to remain steady. Zara stepped closer and placed her palm against Maya's cheek. Thank you, dear friend, for sleeping beside me when I was alone, for showing me that the universe is full of unexpected kindness. Thank you for showing me that I don't have to be alone either, Maya whispered. Zara climbed into her ship, and Maya stepped back as it rose higher into the air. For a moment it hovered there, and Maya could see Zara through the transparent hull looking down at her. Then the ship shot upward, becoming a bright star that quickly disappeared among the real stars of the evening sky. Maya stood alone in the desert, holding the memory stone and looking up at the vast sky. She felt empty and full at the same time, empty because Zara was gone, but full of gratitude for the incredible experience they had shared. 2 years later, Maya was still working at the research station, but her focus had changed. She now spent her time developing protocols for peaceful first contact, writing papers about the possibility of benevolent alien visitors, and advocating for scientific rather than military responses to unexplained phenomena. And sometimes, on clear nights when she held Zara's memory stone, Maya could swear she heard a faint signal in her equipment, a complex pattern that sounded almost like music, almost like a voice saying, "Thank you for sleeping beside me."